Manchester City 4, West Ham 1. Not entirely unpredictable scoreline, other than the one that we got and the fact that they were 4-0 up after, with half hour to go. Not good, was it, Chris? Go on.
No, I mean, it's, as we said just now, right? I mean, it was another predictable defeat for us. No one really expected us to win today, but, we actually played well in large spells of today's game. I thought actually our setup was pretty good. We created a lot of chances. I mean, we really did create a lot of chances today, but ultimately, if we can't convert those chances, counts for nothing, right? Man City, they converted theirs. Frankly speaking, it was some poor defending on a few of those goals as well. Disappointed, mate. Disappointed. And I think the thing that bothers me the most is Man City are not at their full pump right now. They're not. They've got
nowhere near.
Out. You've got people like De Bruyne who's only just come back. So you could see they did not look very good. But yet we're still getting battered. And it is battering. I'm sorry, if you concede more than 3 and we conceded 4, I consider
it is a battering.
And
it is, yeah.
Yeah, it's worrying. It's actually worrying, mate. But the concern always is going to be these stupid mistakes that we keep making game after game after game. I think there's players in that team that actually can come away from the game today with a bit of credit. I thought they performed quite well.
One in particular.
Well, Somerville was standout, mate. That's probably his best game I've seen from him in the claret blue shirt. But there's other players in there. Yeah, it's really, really good. But then you've got people like Kudus, who was absolutely woeful today. And if I'm being honest with you, mate, you can see I've got his shirt behind my head. I'm going to take it down. I'm sick to the teeth of him at the moment. It's funny how he wiggles his arse, like he said last week against Liverpool. Turns up today, and it's just all about him. There's no team player in that guy whatsoever. Not anymore, at least there's not, because he had a few opportunities today where he could have squared the ball, he could have passed it. Pure greed, mate. I want him
totally.
Out.
Yeah, totally. I agree with you. I mean, when you look back at that first chance as well, the one that happened after a couple of minutes where he shot into the side netting, there was, albeit a difficult ball, Fulkrug was in good position at the far post there, right?
Yeah, he was.
He never even gave him a second look. And that weren't the only wasteful one. He wasted about 2 or 3, didn't he?
Yeah.
Absolutely wasted them.
Yeah.
To rub salt into the wounds, West Ham fans were singing Champions of Europe, you know what we are, and guess who was sitting in the stands with a big cheesy grin on his face, as you just told me? None other than David Moyes. What the fuck was David Moyes doing watching a West Ham game? Is he a fan now? Has he got a season ticket? Or has he got an invite from the board? I wonder.
I don't know, mate. I don't look too much into it because they also had Steve Cooper sitting next to him as well. I don't think he's going to be the next manager of West Ham. So maybe you look too much into that. It's just annoying just to see his face there, like smug look on his face,
Well, what right's he got to be smug? We usually went to City and got rolled over when he was in charge.
Well, we never won a game at City when he was in charge, mate. So yeah,
no, we did. The game last season, we just rolled over, didn't we? Like we always did.
Yeah, exactly.
Traditionally, it's a traditional rollover game, isn't it?
It is, mate. It is, but it's not the same proposition. It's not. When you look at the team, you look at how they've been playing. Obviously their form has been well off. It's dipped massively. Yes, they got the win against Leicester the other week. But my God, they weren't great today. They weren't great, and yet they still smashed us by 4 goals, mate. So
I think that's putting it mildly. Not great is they're a long way from the City that we played earlier in the season. A long way, and we wouldn't have got those chances against that Manchester City. The star of the show by a long way for me was Somerville. He came of age today for me. He looked like a proper player who could really mix it with big Premier League players. I was a bit worried that physically he couldn't do it, but another part of me was saying, well, if he puts on bulk, you can have half the player. You know what I mean? And that just proved to me today that no, the kind of physique he's got, that kind of waif-like physique that he's got, that's going to suit him and that's going to be an advantage. Because watching him running up against Haaland, I mean, physically, it was like they were coming face to face at one point, and Haaland's a giant and he's tiny. It did look like, the senior team playing against the under-14s. But the last thing you want when you're Haaland is some tricky little wasp running towards you, innit?
Yeah, no, he was. I thought he was excellent today. My thoughts on him. I think particularly in the first half, he showed a lot of endeavour, a lot of fight. He was causing them all kinds of problems. There was a few moments, one in particular that stood out, where actually the referee blew up because they said it was a foul. I can't remember who it was against. Was it Akanji? Can't remember. But, it was that, the fact that he was pressing, he was trying to make something happen. He seemed to be the only one that was doing that from an attacking point of view. I mean, that being said, like some of it was very good. I thought Paqueta was pretty decent today as well.
It was decent, yeah. Apart from that little trick that he tried outside his own box early on.
Yeah, I mean, this is this is always going to happen with Paqueta, though, mate. We know what he's like. He's got that about him, and I think overall he showed. He played very well today. Actually, I was quite impressed by Paqueta, but again, not overly surprised because not as if he's planned for a move to City because we know that's dead and buried. But I think he still probably wants to prove a point that he is a great player, and he's just shown why Pep was interested in him in the first place. But he had a really good game, actually. I thought. I say really good. No, he had a good game. And who else? I mean, I thought Wan-Bissaka had a decent game as well. He was good again.
We're not going to go through many comments tonight because of the time, and we just got beaten 4-1. But Guerrino, Kudos looks demoralised, having been shoved down on the left for about. He played on the right, Guerrino. He played on the right. I don't care if he's demoralised. This is the same fucker that got himself sent off and banned for 5 games. Don't care very much, does he?
No,
that's the long and short of it. He wants a way, and I don't think he's making any secret of it. Some sort of nonsense article that was how he's complimenting the fans. The headline read, West Ham fans will love to read this about Kudos saying how we take a big following everywhere. That don't matter to players. I mean, no. Declan Rice was saying nice things about the fans before he fucked off.
He wants out. I mean, it's clearly obvious he wants out. He's not playing like he was last season. You could say, maybe it's because of Lopetegui or style, new formations, style of play, this, that, and the other, or new tactics. But ultimately, once he crosses that white line, he still can be a team player. He still doesn't have to be a greedy bastard, which he is at the moment. And I'm getting a bit tired of watching it. I am. I honestly, I wanted him off. I wanted him off at the beginning of the second half. I wanted to put on Guilherme straight up. I think I messaged you, didn't I? I wanted him on. I was sick of watching him.
The thing is, we know he can do better than that. We know he can do better than that. We know he's a better player than that. We know how good he actually is. And so you feel a little bit mugged off when he doesn't deliver what he's capable of delivering. He was shit today, and I was getting really fucking frustrated with him because whether you liked it or not, Man City were not really, in Man City terms, they weren't at the races. If we could have got a goal or two early on, or maybe kept ourselves in the game rather than fucking falling apart like a wet paper bag like we did in the second half there, who knows what could have happened? We might have nicked a draw like Everton did the other week and stuff like that. I mean, I don't even blame the manager for this today. I think the manager picked the best team that he had available, apart from maybe when I looked at the team, the selection, the one I picked out was Soufal. Yeah. So I was thinking, if that's if that is literally the best we got, if you don't rate Emerson that much, or is Emerson injured? I don't know. Or banned.
He went on the bench, mate, so he must be. He's either injured or bad. I don't know, to be honest, but he wasn't available today. But then, arguably, would you say that it would be better to play? I don't know. Maybe it's a bit of too much of a test to play. Scholes at left back and put Wan-Bissaka right. I don't know. But Soufal, for me, he's spent, mate. He's done. He's totally done. And you could see that for, one of the goals that we conceded. He got turned inside and out by Savinho. I know we spoke about this briefly, mate, but, again, I'm sorry. The cross comes in too easily. You're talking about 3 probably people that are culpable for that. I think Soufal, Areola and Kilman for giving Haaland too much space at the far post.
For the second goal, absolutely. I think Areola completely misjudged the flight of the ball, because if you look at what he does, he actually goes towards the ball, and it goes about 6 foot above his head.
Yeah,
he's completely misread it. As well as that, I was looking. You said that Wan-Bissaka wasn't to blame because it was Kilman's man, and I agree with that. But there is awareness, and I think Wan-Bissaka was looking in the direction of Haaland as he was ever so slowly moving his way into position.
What goal?
And he didn't react to him.
The second.
The second goal,
yeah. I mean, look, there was, but ultimately, I think that's Kilman's man. I think we're skipping the first goal here as well, right? I mean, let's not forget the first goal we conceded, because I think initially when you see it, you think, well, that's a bit unlucky. It's taken a deflection off a Soufal. Probably at that point, it was against the run of play, because, as you said, we had the Kudus chance where he could have squared it to Fulkrug. It was on the far post. He was on the left-hand side, wasn't he? The far stick.
He had a player between him and there was a player in between him and Kudus. But
he had a moment, though, mate. He had a moment where he could have got it across to
a quick ball. Quick ball. He could have got on the end of it.
And then you had another one that we had. So we had Souček that had a really good chance, probably even the better chance of the two, where actually he could have probably taken a touch before he literally hit it about God knows how far wide of the post. I mean, that was a really bad shot when he dragged that one wide. But I thought, we had some really good patterns of play in that first 15 minutes or so. I thought we were doing really good. And if anything, if you look at Manchester City's defence, I thought they looked a little bit rattled. Akanji wasn't having a good game. He was not having a good game at that time. And I thought, I can't believe that Man City are conceding these amount of chances that, they were against us. Couldn't believe it. And I was thinking, you never know. Something might happen here today. They're really not the Man City of what we've typically been used to. But obviously, as soon as those goals start going in, you know what's going to happen, right? And I think going again back to that first goal, I mean, Soufal, yes, it was unlucky. It was a deflected shot. Well, it wasn't a shot, was it? It was a cross. But as you pointed out, leading up to that goal, what the fuck is Alvarez doing, ducking out of that header? It looks like he was scared to even get up for it. Do you know what I mean?
That is the total blame goes to him for me. I
mean,
you can have a little go at Soufal because he's old and he can't look after Silvino, but there's no excuse for that. No excuse at all.
He's poor, mate. I mean, come on, that's the sort of thing you see little kids doing. When they're playing football, so they don't want to get them worried that it's going to hurt their head. These are professional football players, mate. You go up for that. You absolutely go up for that. Not good enough.
Another thing we saw in the first half was a diabolical decision by the referee when, again, the brilliant Jimmy Somerville nicked in and took the fucking ball off of the big dirty centre half, about twice his size. Referee just blew up without a second thought because there's no way that a West Ham player could possibly be through one-on-one with the City goalkeeper, could they? It's not allowed.
Yeah, I've not seen that one back, mate. I know at that particular time I was like, how on earth is he blown up here? You're looking at someone who's like fucking 6'4" against someone who's about 5'4". To me, it just seemed very, very soft. Real soft. But yeah, what can you say? It's done, isn't it, mate?
Well, I just felt for him. I mean, the only blot on his copybook, but I'll let him off with this. Somerville is towards the end of the game, pretty wasteful with a couple of chances that he had. But nonetheless, that ball that he played for Kudus when Kudus hit the side netting, that was him surging through the centre of midfield and playing a first-time ball out to Kudus. Perfect number 10 play.
Yeah. No, I can't fault his display today. Aside from, as you say, that shot, I think it was Piquet that laid it off to him. I can't remember when he hit it well over the bar. That one I'm talking about. Yeah.
Well, Piquet played a few lovely balls today, didn't he? The one to Souček, like you said, and there was another one as well that he played later on. Really, really, there was some good stuff and some bad stuff in there today. There were too many players who weren't on their game, as usual, because like we said, in order for us to win a game, we've got to be playing against crap, and most of our players have got to have turned up. What we've got at the moment is we play against a team who, they're full of stars. They're not on form, but they don't really have to be. They're kind of doing to the league what we're doing to the league, right? They're winning games because of who they are and the players they've got. That's how they're going to stay in contention in or around the top 6 rather than drop like a stone. Whereas we will end up safe because of the quality that we've got, unless we keep collecting injuries like this.
Yeah, maybe. But again, like I always say, only time will tell, because I just find it very difficult to work out where we're going to get points from at the moment. I mean, I know we had that spell over Christmas where we did okay. Obviously, we accumulated 8 out of 12, so that's good on paper. But when I see the amount of chances that we concede and give to the opposition, it's concerning, mate. It's real concerning. I don't take us to get really anything from Villa on Friday. I'm concerned about the Fulham game because they're a decent team. It's just this leak at the back, mate. It's got to stop. And it is schoolboy errors. I think, our goalkeeper in Areola, he's poor, mate. He's poor. He's a poor keeper. I didn't really think he was as bad as what I'm actually beginning to realise he is. So we miss Fabianski, mate. We really do. I think Kilman, he seems, I do like Kilman, and I still think he's a good defender, but I think he is culpable for a lot of kind of things that have been happening, like bad things that have been happening recently. His awareness of what's going on around him. And again, I'll go back to, I think it was the Haaland second goal. Haaland just ran in behind him. And it's like he's not even thinking. He's not even thinking or to kind of look around and, do you know what I mean? See where Haaland is. He's just letting him run.
But then again, the reason that Haaland got that ball in the first place was because the City player, the midfield opened like the Red Sea, and Mavropanos was running into his own box, backing off him, and it left Kilman exposed, really. Kilman was the one picking up. It was a good finish from Haaland. When he does something like that, you can't really do anything about it. But then, we're 3-0 down, and we're thinking, oh, here we go. I was thinking my 6-0 might come true. And I thought, even more it was going to come true when 4-0 with half hour to go, and that was just Kudus again, giving the bloody ball away. You know, losing possession in a bad position.
That was actually, to be honest with you, mate, we were going for a nice little pattern of play there, right? You know, kind of one touch passing and stuff, playing our way out of danger, and then bang, Kudus just plays it straight. Well, he's playing it to Alvarez, but Alvarez has got a stretch to get that. Can't get to it. I think it goes to Silva, who then passes to Foden. It's a goal. I mean, it's that again. It's basic football, mate. You know, I'm sorry if you can't pass the ball, you know, accurately to one of your teammates who's only 10 yards away. That's unacceptable, mate. You can't be doing that at this level, particularly against teams like Man City. You can't be doing that. Can't be doing it. And for me, that just kind of was the icing on the cake, really, with regards to his performance today, because he was really, really poor. And I'm sorry, if he's going to turn up like that every week, aside from Liverpool when he was putting himself in the shop window, then get a shot of him. Get a shot of him. I don't care about. And I said to you, I actually think that I would guess that he's likely to go to Liverpool, mate. That is my kind of expectation. I don't think he's going to go Arsenal. I think they might be interested in him. But if you look at it, Liverpool, they can't seem to agree a contract with Salah. So I think he's on his way out. He's pretty much hinted at that. So what are they going to need? They're going to need someone on that right-hand side. And who else out there is there, particularly who's used to the Premier League and knows, you know, they can certainly get better. And he is a world-class player when he turns it on, right? He is. But he's not doing it for us. I think he wants out. So I see him going to Liverpool. If not in January, then definitely in the summer. That's the obvious move for me. Be gutted to see it happen in a way, but if he continues playing like he is, get rid of him. Just get rid of him and get players in there that are proper team players. Right. Something that we don't seem to have, mate, you know?
And then 4-0, Chris, they took their foot off the gas. We had a few decent chances after that, one in which we scored. Great little move. Yeah. That was actually a ball from Alvarez to Souček. Souček, lovely little cross into Füllkrug. And look, Füllkrug, he will score goals. He's German international striker. Of course he'll score goals. You give him chances, he'll score goals. He will do what he says on the tin. He's not going to excite you or set the world alight, but he's going to score goals.
I thought he had a good performance today. I think for me, that was his best performance in a West Ham shirt today.
He's getting no service, right? He's getting no service up there.
Yeah, but right, if you look at the first half, you know, to forget the goal, even if you take the goal out of the equation here, still think it was his best performance for us, because in the first half he was winning, I would say 99% of his aerial duels. He was winning them all. And actually some of his flick-ons were very accurate. They're going to obviously his teammates. I thought he was decent. You know, with the little service that he had, I thought he did a decent job today. I was really pleased to see him score a goal. I think he needed that. Let's hope, fingers crossed, it's the start of a run, maybe, who knows. But, you know, he's not the player that we all wanted, but you've got to back him. Not the striker that we all wanted. But, you know what? Let's hope he does well and turns it on in the upcoming games.
I agree. And I mean, look, he's done nothing to hurt any of us. You know what I mean? He's just turned up, signed for a new club, and he's had a bad injury problem. Maybe it'll just start coming good, because where he comes from, whatever club he's played for, the fans have loved him for his work rate, right? They've loved him. But it ain't been true for us so far. Let's go through a couple of the comments before we move on. So frustrating, says David Harris. I thought we played well, but still got beaten. Yeah, I thought we played well in patches, but like Chris says, defence and essential midfield. When half of your midfield's not functioning, which it wasn't with Alvarez in there, Souček did all right. Alvarez didn't. And he was at fault for that goal, yes. Felt like 2-1, really stupid mistakes. Yeah, they were. What can you say? New York Hammer, Man City could have beaten any other Premier League team today. Could have been beaten by any other Premier League team today. I must get these glasses. Yeah. So they could have. I don't know about beaten by any other team. Did you hear that Ipswich beat Chelsea?
Well, they did, didn't they, the other day? Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I must keep my my eye on other results, because that's a little bit worrying, isn't it? You don't want those teams at the bottom to start winning, because suddenly we find ourselves dragged into a bloody relegation struggle, won't we?
I've been saying this.
These things don't creep up on you, do they? These things don't creep up on you. You know, we'll slowly get dragged into it, won't we? And before we know it, it does show how much we miss Bowen and Antonio. I think Kudus needs to stop showboating. Yeah, he does, without a doubt. So does Paqueta, really. But then Paqueta, as long as he does it at the front end of the pitch, I'm all right with that. And the same applies to Kudus, really. Thought Somerville was on fire. He absolutely was. Foxes are screaming. He was also in a man in a match. I think everyone's saying the same thing. Tadibo got injured. Don't know how injured. I haven't seen any news on that. Have you seen
Weird
anything
one.
yet, Chris?
Nah, weird one, that one. I was a bit confused. Like, because I didn't even think he was injured. Then I see Mavropanos coming. I'm like, what are we doing? Why is he coming on? But obviously I get it if it's a like-for-like replacement. But no idea what was wrong with him, to be honest.
See how in sync I am with Claire. Look, see. I'm actually worried we're going to be pulled into a relegation fight. Ipswich can beat Chelsea. We can't fight our way out of a paper bag. No, we can't. Not even against a team that are playing terribly. Even fellow sufferers Tadibo, just unfit. Has only had about one full 90 minutes. Yeah. Ever since he fell out with thing. They seem to be getting on all right now, though, don't they? Him and Lobby. Sullivan has ultimately caused this season to fall apart from the wrong choice from the start and not accepting he fucked up, and yet we could still be in danger despite worse teams not far behind. Yeah, and I think that's, again, I don't want to say it again, but I was the first to start saying this. Moyes is going to end up back here, I'm telling you.
No, don't say it, mate. Honestly, stop it.
You know, you told me to stop talking about this a few weeks ago, but somebody said in the chat here we go. Oh, sorry, Avram has a better league win record than Lopetegui. That's something to be proud of, isn't it? SC says, evening lads, saw X said Moyes was at the game today as he wants to come back.
Yeah, mate, I don't look.
He's going to be having a little drink with Sullivan afterwards, because you know what Moyes does. I did a lot of research into Moyes on that other channel that I used to be on, right? Because, you know, I did quite a number of hit pieces. Well, there was a little trick that he used to play on the Everton board, and what it was to get the fans on side. He knows that the home fans were at his throat. He knows that the away fans were fine with him. So if he was going to turn up, because what he used to do with Everton is you say, we finished halfway, listen to the fans out there, because it was the home fans that loved him at Everton, not the away fans. The home fans always sung his name. He'd encourage it just before he was signing a new contract. He'd say, look, the fans love me, the fans love me. He's just done that today, and the fans have responded, singing Champions of Europe.
No, that's not for him, Gal. Gal, that's not. No.
You sure?
Mate, look, you can't get that twisted, yeah. That's not for him. We sing that every bloody game, mate. Every away game we sing that. So that's not for David Moyes. It just so happened that when the fans were singing that, I think they panned the camera over to David Moyes, and he's got this little wry smile on his face, right? But that's not for Moyes. I'd be surprised if the fans knew that he was even there. Like, it's only the people watching it on the box.
I don't know. It's put the fear of bejesus at me. You know, I'm not going to sleep tonight over this.
Mate, honestly, you know, if you look too much into the Moyes thing, then, you know, also Steve Cooper's there, so that's even fucking scarier in some respects, right? He was sitting right next to him.
I know that Moyes, not even Sullivan would go as far as would stoop as low as Steve Cooper, right? Foxes are screaming. Kudos did heads up for that ball to Fulkrug wasn't on.
It was on. It was on. Right, but he had a moment where it was on, but then he left it too late, and then it wasn't on. It wasn't on at that point. But the point being is that, you know, that wasn't the only time that he did that. There was a few moments. Where he lost the ball. There was another one. He was running towards goal. He had options and he lost the ball very, very easily. Very unlike Kudus in terms of how he would play. You know, he's usually so damn robust. It's hard to get the ball off him. He was quite easy to get the ball off today. He was. It's funny because if you look at Somerville, he was playing more like Kudus was last season than Kudus was playing. You know,
that's right. Yeah. And this could be the reason for it. He's now sulking because Bowen is injured, and thought we were going to sell him in January. It's probably been scuppered now. Probably has.
I don't fucking know, mate. I think if he's not interested in playing for West Ham, if he's not interested in playing for West Ham, then I'm sorry. I would imagine that West Ham would want to sell him and get the right price for him. Why keep holding a player that doesn't want to be here?
Yeah, totally agree. Emerson failed a fitness test according to Kent just before the game. That explains it. Some of our play was good. Yes, it was. Kilman is bang average, says make West Ham great again. And finally, the other one I tagged was, does Loppy get sacked tonight or in the morning?
Yes, please.
Not at all.
Not
at all, unless Moyes is having a couple of drinks with David Sullivan now in the back of his limo.
Honestly, anyone in for an interim basis, apart from Moyes, of course, and Steve Cooper, I want him out. I just can't. I think today, to be fair to Lopetegui, I do think that the setup was actually probably about right. I think based on the fact that, yes, we actually, like people said we were good in the final third today. Well, yeah, we created chances, but we couldn't convert them apart from the Fulkrug one, right? There was way too many chances that we missed. You know, the Souček one, the Kudus one, the Somerville one. There was quite a few going on there. I think Paqueta had one where he screwed the ball slightly wide of the post as well. There were some good the good patterns of play from attack point of view, but we're still having problems scoring goals. So that is one major issue that we need to address, right? But the bigger issue for me is defensively, because we just make way too many mistakes, game on game on game. You know, I mean, sorry, mate, it's now, is it like 8 or 9 games this season we've conceded 3 or more goals? That's horrific, mate. That is absolutely.
It's 9 now. I think it's 9. It was 8 before, wasn't it?
That's horrific, Gal. That's absolutely horrific. It's 9 games in one season. Yeah. Nine games in one season where we conceded more than 3 goals. And we're talking 4, 5, and 6s here, mate, as well. You know. Yeah,
and you've got to remember as well that what happened after Christmas last year. Because you remember last year, December was an unforeseen success last year.
I remember.
Yeah? And then after Christmas, the bottom fell out of it, and we barely won another game all season.
Yeah.
Same can happen again, right?
It could easily happen. And look, let's not forget, okay, it wouldn't be unlike West Ham to sell players and suddenly not be able to attract other players to come back in and replace those players that left. We've done that kind of stuff before, you know, transfer windows. That concerns me, because if we did let go of Kudus and we don't bring in a replacement, or we don't bring in a striker, we don't bring in a centre half or a box-to-box midfielder, or it's someone that's not at the level that we need, then we're really screwed, mate. We are screwed, because there's not enough depth in that squad, mate. There isn't.
Yeah, I know. No, there isn't. I mean, we just about rebuilt the first team and a bench from what Moyes left behind. Yeah. And now you take, you know, a few injuries later, you are down to when he's bringing on Guilherme, you know, it's the bare bones.
Yeah, and to be, I mean, Guilherme didn't impact anything today, did he?
Nah, too late in the game, though, wasn't it? Too late in the game.
And he's still at that 20 minutes, mate. Still at 20 minutes.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there, though, because there was one time where Paqueta had the ball and Guilherme was on. He could have given it to him. Instead, he played some fucking Hail Mary ball straight in front. Went straight out of play, didn't it? Do you remember?
Oh, yeah. But, yeah, I know what you mean. But that said, I thought Paqueta did play some very good balls today as well, Gal. He did.
Yeah. No, he did. The couple of little balls over the top, those little chips were delicious. Really nice.
Yeah.
Why didn't he use Skulls? Yeah, I don't know why he didn't use Skulls. I think Skulls is a good is a good right back. Go on. Super chat, £5. Sullivan. Thank you very much, Mark Pendleton. Why haven't you sacked your waste of space head coach yet? Well, yeah. Yeah, it's a question we'd all like to ask. It's a question we'd all like to ask. Big David Sullivan, isn't it?
Yeah, if we could pull the plug, we'd do it now. I think every fan would do it now. But yeah, no, thanks, Mark. It's just, it's delaying the inevitable, isn't it? I think for all of us.
Well, we all know it's coming. We all know what's coming. This is the thing. We all knew we were going to get thumped by Liverpool, thumped by City. We know we're going to get thumped by Villa when we make our way up there next Friday. Thanks, Chris. And then we're going to play.
It's your choice, mate. You're a grown man. You can make your own decisions.
I know. And then we're going to play Fulham at home, who are intermittently on fire at the moment. In fact, they're a lot better than us, put it like that. And in our injury-ravaged state we are at the moment, we should really be losing that one as well, if I was to predict it at the moment, because it's we can't play against any team that can take their chances. That is still the point. Fulham take their chances. They didn't take their chances against us earlier in the season at their place. They should have done, but they didn't.
Yeah.
But every team that can take their chances, we get beaten by.
That's true.
The only reason I can explain, the only way I can explain that Loppy's still here is that he wants to get us desperate enough to bring back David Moyes. Just saying.
The only reason he's still here is because Sullivan doesn't want to stick his hand in his pocket, mate. That is it. And as long as we stay up and he thinks we are going to stay up, then he won't make the change. That's why I'm not really expecting any sackings or anything like that happening anytime soon. Unless it gets to a point where we are in grave danger, then I see a change happening. But until that point in time, he's with us. That's how I see it. So
John Millward here. Salary's world class. Don't tell him what Kudus is nowhere near. Well, last season he almost was as a youngster, as comparable. I'm talking about raw materials, like when Salah went to Liverpool. Kudus is probably ahead of where Salah was when he arrived at Liverpool. They do get a little bit better once they join a club like that, and they spend 90 minutes every week playing on the front foot, don't they?
Yeah, I think that you play him in a Liverpool team is going to be a lot more effective than he is for West Ham. You look at what he did for West Ham last season as well, okay, under David Moyes. You know, there's context behind this. I would agree with what you're saying. Yeah, he's not at Salah's level yet. Of course he's not. I mean, who the bloody well is at Salah's level? He's different class, not world class.
He is world class.
Unreal. Yeah. He is. Yeah. But I think with Kudus, what is he, 24 years old? He has got so much time on his side. He has. I think that he will be an absolute world beater. I do, but I think he's got to change his attitude a little bit in order to get to that level.
Is that live on BBC One on Friday?
I don't know, mate.
Fucking hell.
Don't know.
Right. Under a good coach, Kudus can be well. Well, look, let's face it. Even under David Moyes, he was a damn sight better, wasn't he? Spurs lost again, did they?
Yeah, they lost to Newcastle 2-1 today.
Oh, that's right. They lost.
Looks like Ange might be on borrowed time as well over there.
Well, there was a lovely rumour.
They'll make a change, though. They would make a change. We won't.
There was a lovely rumour that came out the other day, which I really liked. I'm going to be interested to see what people say in the comments here. Because Spurs fans, they still love Ange. Daniel Levy's apparently getting very, very pissed off with Ange. And apparently another loss or two, he could be on his way. Word on the street was that Ange, big fans of Ange, are Karen Brady and David Sullivan. And Sullivan is looking to get him for his favourite price, which is free, once he gets fired by Spurs. What do you think about that, you lot in the chat?
I think we mentioned this the other day. Again, I don't see that one happening, to be honest with you. The Spurs manager coming over to West Ham, for starters, is always a bit of an off one. But I think, secondly, he's obviously got problems from a defensive point of view. He likes to play a high line, but at least he attacks teams. Maybe, in fairness, if I can make the swap now between him or Lopetegui, I'd take Postecoglou. No question. But I think with regards to your point about Spurs fans, I think it's totally divided, mate. I think there's a massive proportion of Spurs fans that want him out. They're sick of seeing, the fact that they're not getting wins and they're not where they deserve to be and all this kind of stuff.
Fact is, they are where they deserve to be. You know what I mean? Tom, I'm sure it was you, Gary, that said about giving Lopetegui time. Yeah, I meant like 10 games. He had that.
Yeah, not a season.
He had that like 9 games ago, Tom, or 10 games ago, whatever it is now. Loppy will take us into the Championship. I think we might just get away with it because there are teams that are worse than us, but the more that teams like Ipswich start improving and pulling themselves out of the bottom three, the more we're going to be looking over our shoulder, I fear.
I like this comment. Moyes to the Spuds. Yes, please.
Yeah, Moyes for Spurs. I'll tell you what, it's no coincidence that he ain't had a job offer from anyone else.
Oh, apparently he's getting a load of opportunities, but he's been very picky about what he wants.
That's probably what he's telling Sullivan. I'm waiting for you. All these clubs I've turned down, Man United, Liverpool, I've turned them all down.
Real Madrid, AC Milan.
Yeah. Ange Ball, yes, please. Mark Pendleton. I would love that. Actually, I would love that. I mean, I know we'd concede goals, but our eyes, hopefully, we wouldn't be so much focused on how well we defend because we'd just accept that we're going to attack a whole lot better and we're going to concede the odd sloppy goal. I think we'd be a lot more forgiving of his style of football than perhaps Spurs are because they're at the stage where they're booing him off the pitch now, right? Even Gary and Chris, in my kudos to become a very greedy player, has numerous chances to play us in. Yeah, he did. And that was the one of the worst things. It was like, I don't know, I don't want to put words into his mouth or generate conspiracy theories, but it was like either he didn't care or he wanted to spurn the opportunity, because there is one train of thought that if Lopetegui keeps winning or doing well, that he's going to stay. Sullivan master plan, appoint a manager that will be boring and lose every week so that he can get his grubby little mitts on the transfers and have David Moyes back. Well, part one of that plan's already come true. He's got his grubby mitts. Him and Will Salthouse are taking care of the transfers at the moment. They're talking to Brighton and co about those players that we want. So part one of that plan's already in place. Part two of that plan, I will not rest until another manager is appointed. I won't give up on this David Moyes theory until, because I just know Sullivan. In my water, I know that he would do it. He wouldn't give a fuck what the fans thought. Claire, nope, solves the attack. Messi's to defence. No more foreigners, thanks. No, and that includes Moyes. He's a foreigner. I'd like an English manager, please. English manager. What managers does Will Salthouse have available? Well, we've got David Moyes, for instance. Oh no, his agent is his brother, isn't it?
Yeah,
but probably via Will Salthouse, I would imagine. That's the only reason Moyes had continued to have a say in the transfers was because Moyes had a vested interest in Sullivan getting his own way and using the same agents. See what I mean? So that's why. And you're never going to lose a vote when you've got 2 out of 3 people on the same side, are you? I said last season we should have got. Say that, Chris. Gyökeres. Look at Sporting. He's a goal machine. Yeah. Who is he?
So he's a striker, and I think I'm just looking at. Oh yeah, he was, because he was at Coventry City, mate, and he was banging goals in the Championship. He looked pretty decent. Went to Sporting. His ratio now is 50 and 50. Gets a goal a game. In the Champions League, he's been particularly prolific as well. He's a really good striker. He's 26 years of age, but I think right now his value is skyrocketed. He's like beyond 60, 70 million. So do you see us signing a player at that price? No. I think back then I'd agree with whoever that was who just put that comment up. We could have signed him and he would have been a hell of a lot cheaper, but not now. It's too much.
For sure. Mark Pendleton, we're the worst team, but we have individuals capable of moments. Well, look, this is the only reason we're not languishing in the bottom three, is because we do have these individuals that other teams down there don't have, who are capable of winning a game. But the main one's been Bowen. Yeah, the main one's been Bowen, right? He's the one that's provided a lot of the assists. Even though Kudus has provided 4 or 5 himself, to be honest. We're getting hammered every other week. Well, every week this week. I think it could be 3 times in 2 weeks on Friday. Listen, we go to Villa with a slightly understrength team, which we probably will. We'll probably see that as one that we can throw away, I'm guessing, because of the injury problems that we've got. So we're going to go to Villa even weaker. Just got to hope that Villa are weak.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, Champions League is going to be their priority, isn't it? It will be their priority. So perhaps they may choose to go weaker, but I think they'll also see this as a game that they should be winning because we're shit. So that's
Sean Wetwipe,
an easy one.
Sean Wetwipe said that Loppy is going nowhere. That was a minute ago. Don't care what Sean says. He speaks bullshit when he's told to speak bullshit.
He said Loppy's going nowhere.
To go nowhere.
Yeah, that's where he's going. I honestly think that's the case. I do. I don't disagree with that. Yeah.
How can an erotic film producer be a club owner? Can someone please explain it to me? Well, I don't know. He ended up being a producer. He started out with mucky magazines, didn't he, and videos and stuff. You know, to get used to be able, when they had VHS, apparently you call up this number in the paper and a bloke on his bike would come round and drop you off some VHS tapes in exchange for used notes. And I think he got out of the porn game primarily when he saw the internet come along and thought it was the internet was going to kill the porn business. He's always been good. Always a foresight, you know. Kudus and Bowen have become conditioned to always shoot because it was pointless to pass to Antonio. Well, I don't know. I think Antonio gets a hard rap. You
can't be conditioned to shoot. They've still got Fulkrug up there now, right? So why are they not passing to him?
Yeah.
You know, there's opportunities to do that today. I don't agree. I think Kudus is just getting greedy. He's downright greedy at the moment. He is.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think it's right what Kudus is doing. Got to be honest. If Spurs sack Ange, would you take him next season? Yeah, I would. I mean, anything to get us out of this purgatory, to be honest. But if he got a summer and could bring in some players that suit his style, absolutely, I would. If he's got to, persevere with... See, this is what we've done. We've done it again. We've actually done it again. We didn't learn our lesson with David Moyes in building a team for David Moyes. We've built a team for Julian Lopetegui that also doesn't work, just the same as the Moyes team didn't work in the end. I can't believe we've been so ignorant and foolish as to do this, to allow a coach who's supposed to be a first-team coach to come in and demand certain players. He even admitted in the paper that is what he was going to do. Guillaume Balaguer said it. He's already, Guillaume Balaguer, one of his quotes was, he's already mentioned 3 or 4 Spanish players that he wants to bring in. They're his priorities. Well, that weren't part of the job description if we had a coach rather than a manager. He's clearly got a manager's job, not a coach's job. And the measures that he was talking about, you mentioned KPIs last week and stuff like that. Lopetegui's already said the 3 measures that Sullivan asked him to achieve. Integrate all the new players. I mean, that's a fucking given. You do that by default. That's a baseline requirement, right? Baseline requirement. Play a more attacking brand of football is number 2. Well, yeah, but don't forget about defending. And what was the third one? I forget about the third one. It was also meaning, win more games. Well, that one's up the fucking spout, isn't it? Yeah. So those 3 really, really incredible measures. He went to Sullivan, Lopetegui, at his kind of review and said, well, I've met 2 of them. And then Sullivan's like, well, yeah, I suppose you have. We better give you another couple of games.
I just think he's only holding on to him just because he wants to save a few quid in his back pocket. That's all it comes down to, Gary. It's all about money. That's it.
Steve Tiley, I had my head in my hands as well about Soufal. It's the one name I picked out of that team sheet because we know what Soufal was at the end of last season. He couldn't play against anyone fast. He couldn't. He just reversed into the box, didn't he?
Do you know what he should have done today, Gary? What he should have done, and we called this near at the beginning of the season in terms of a position where one particular player could actually be potentially useful, and that's playing Mavropanos at right back instead of Soufal, because at least he's got a bit more in his tank than Soufal has, because he's like running in treacle, Soufal. So that for me would have been, if you're going to play Wan-Bissaka on the left-hand side to kind of counteract, the kind of, I guess the challenges that, we would get from their right wing, then you would probably get someone who's a bit more defensive-minded, a bit more faster, a bit more robust and stronger than Soufal. And Soufal, he's just there for the taking. He's going to be a target for any opposition if you see him playing. Of course he is.
I agree. Steve, another point here. All the idiots who want Moyes back. Well, we won only 4 games in the second half of last season, and look how he left the squad, which was decimated. He thought we couldn't sack him, Moyes. We couldn't get rid of him because he was the only one that could turn that squad around. He deliberately created that squad problem. I know he did. And anyone that forgets that, also don't forget. I mean, there was last season, but this was basically 2 terrible seasons in the league. We nearly were in a relegation dogfight the year before. It was only that game at Fulham where we turned it around when it was a deflective goal off someone's ass. Yeah. It was 2 poor seasons. And the way these people, you're right, Steve, the way these people talk about Moyes and his record, it's as if, they forget all the negative stuff and just say, regular European football. Forgetting to say the first qualification for European football was during COVID, when the other teams were extraordinarily weak. The second one was when we brought Lingard in, that Lingard season. And the third one was for winning the Conference League when we actually finished full team. So it weren't like we were easily qualifying for Europe year on year. I don't want to take anything away from the Conference League thing. It was one of the best nights of my life. But I'm just saying, get this into context. This wasn't 5th, 6th, 4th. This wasn't 3 years of successive European football qualified through the league. It wasn't. I from Canada, under Loppy, we royally suck, so surely his pride alone should cause him to walk. Well, no. I mean, the only thing that will apparently make him walk is if we refuse to buy the players that he demands. Because he's still demanding them. He's now demanding a striker, apparently. I don't know how he can demand fucking anything.
Well, if he's at the end of the day, if he's manager and he thinks he's here for maybe not the long term, but certainly for the rest of the season, then of course he's within his rights to say, I need a striker. Yeah. Of course he is, Gal. He's manager of West Ham. He should be, or coach of West Ham, wherever the fuck he is. He needs to make that decision because you can see that's where we are weak. So yeah, he should.
I think Ian, it was a better performance than the Moyes game last season. The result wasn't any better, but the performance was definitely better.
Yeah, but Man City are not Man City from last season, Gary. They're fucking nowhere near that level, mate. They're nowhere near that level anymore. Do you honestly think that the Man City from last season would give those types of chances that we had today? We could have scored. We could have maybe been 2 or 3 up in the first half, potentially, had they not scored. I mean, you look at the Souček chance, the Kudus, he had 2. I mean, this is the thing. They never would do that. Their defence is pretty fragile at the moment. It is.
Yeah, no, I agree. So, Amadets, they owned a Victoria's Secret. I don't think they did. It
was Ann Summers, wasn't it? Ann Summers.
Yeah, no, that was the Golds. The Golds still own Ann Summers, don't they?
Okay.
Only players to sign for us will be mercenaries. I think that's true. Ryan Pope says Sully owned a pawn shop in Forest Gate. His first ever pawn shop. Don't know where it was, but I read a little while ago that he's still got it for old time's sake. I don't know why you would, but there you go.
Pretty weird though, that's why.
Yeah. So I'm just getting down the bottom here to some. We're right down the bottom. What happened to Soler? Was he banned today?
Don't know, mate. Was he? I think he might be. Was he on the bench? Don't know. No, he can't have been banned. He was banned for the game before last.
Yeah, I was going to say. Yeah. He came back last game, didn't he?
So he was dropped. Soler was on the bench today.
So he was dropped for a really bad Alvarez.
Yeah, but come on, would you? Yeah, but if you're going to play a CDM and you're going to play Soler or Alvarez, let's be honest, you play Alvarez, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
So he's essentially being dropped for Souček because Souček came back in. He's captain, so that's the reason why he played.
But then think back to the third goal, the way that geezer ran through the heart of our of our midfield and unchallenged. Look at the second goal where Alvarez, our CDM, decided to not challenge on the edge of the box. Could he have done much worse?
I'm not disagreeing with that, but what I'm saying is, if you look at it before the game, come on, you wouldn't have played Soler over Alvarez. I don't think anyone would have done that. Would you play Soler over Souček or Paqueta? No. Maybe you might have played Soler over Paqueta, but actually, in hindsight, I think that was the right decision because Paqueta actually had a pretty good game today. You know?
Yeah.
But you know, thinking about so the game's done today. Let's face it, it's done. It's frustrating. We expected to lose, but perhaps the fact that we could have got something out of today's game had we not been so damn crap in defence. Right, we could have got something out. It was probably one of the better times to face Man City. You could say maybe it was a couple of weeks ago, but you know, whenever they played this over the course of the last month or month and a half, Man City, they've been so bad, mate. They've been so bad. The big difference is they were losing to teams that could actually convert and finish their chances, unlike us who can't. We need. I mean, how many chances do we need in the game before we can convert and score one goal? Too many, in my opinion. Right? We just don't look like scoring. So I just think it's a real shame it's done. But now we focus on the next game, which is Villa. And you know, to your point, you say we're going to make changes for that game. I mean,
just a quick word from Ted here. All we can do is stick together as West Ham fans. At least we're a family. Yeah, look, what I don't want to see is another divide straight down the middle of the West Ham fans. I think we're all on one side at the moment, which is get this fucker out. But I think that's the main reason why, if I'm being honest, that's the main reason I would hate to see Moyes back, because he divides the fans right down the fucking middle.
Yeah,
and he does it deliberately. He loves it, and the one who loves it the most is Sullivan, because it keeps all the attention away from him. All the anger gets pointed at the manager.
Yeah, it does. It totally deflects it, doesn't it? But again, go back to my point, Gal. Villa at the weekend. So you think we're going to play maybe a slightly weakened team? What's that mean? We're playing Wes Foderingham in goal because he's actually a goalkeeper at the minute.
Well, I think maybe we will then. I don't know, but I wouldn't think so. I wouldn't think so. But I would think Irving gets a game. I think maybe. Well,
you've got Scholes, Soler, Rodriguez, Irving, Guilherme, Danny Ings. Those are the players that are on the bench today.
I'd rather see a team that's got a few young up and coming kids in it get beat than I don't want to see a Forest situation from all those years ago, what Allardyce did up at Forest, but a little sprinkling of kids, one or two maybe, in that team would make it a worthwhile journey, wouldn't it? Because you get to see him firsthand. You learn quite a lot when you see him, don't you?
Well, I would like to see Guilherme come in. I'd like to see Guilherme come in and start and play a game at right wing. And do you know what I mean? Sods Kudus off just for that game. Just let Guilherme, just give him a chance.
So a German Hammers fan here, Bolo Blazer, Nicholas Fulkrug, a.k.a. Fuller, that's what you call him, is it? Fuller. Was decent today. He needs a good delivery to score. In Germany, we say Lopetegui is Scheisse. Yes, he is. Yeah. Big
in England, we say
Scheisse. Yeah. Yes, we agree. Right, okay. So what else we got? Fulkrug scores meaningless goal. Well, no, let's not be harsh. It was a good goal.
He can't help it, can he? I mean, it's meaningless.
It's a good goal. You can't have double standards. Can't have double standards just because he's never going to excite you, Fulkrug. You're never going to look at him and think, wow, we've got this dynamo up front. All he's going to do is go about his business and score goals.
But look at it from another angle, right? You can say meaningless goal because we didn't get anything from the game today. That's fair enough. But think about what that may well do for his confidence, because now he's scored 2 goals, for West Ham. Obviously, he scored the goal up at
in about 4 starts, right? In about 4 starts.
So that can only be a good thing if you look at it in that respect. Because if he's not scoring at all, that's meaningless, right? If he's scoring a goal in a defeat, at least it's a good thing. Yeah,
Fulkrug will always score. He will. I've been saying it time and again. As well, Chris. Listen, you want a current German international striker if you don't score goals. He does score goals. He's just not the attractive, all-out, action-packed, massive, pacey striker that everyone wanted to see. But that ain't his fault. The same as it's not Soufel's fault that he can't catch any fast wingers anymore.
But you back what you've got, and that's the thing.
Yeah. Is it just me who's confused? This is Mark Holmes. We don't ever go for Brendan Rodgers, De Zerbi, Poch, Marco Silva, or about 20 other great... Well, look, Marco Silva, apparently he was joining us until Moyes won the Conference League. Then Sullivan bottled it and decided to stay with Moyes. We should have got Marco Silva. It would have been the best of all worlds if we could have just had Marco Silva at that point in time. But no, we had to go through this shit instead. And this is a lot more expensive going through this shit than and saving face for Sullivan, who would have obviously got attacked by the media, who would have been outraged. They were bad enough last year when we were shit, how outraged they were. It was a relentless pile-on. But that's part of your job. You've got to make the right decision, and he didn't. De Zerbi, Poch, I'd take Poch, I'd take De Zerbi, I'd take Brendan Rodgers, I'd take any of them.
This is the thing I've been saying so many times, though, Gary, because it never ever seems to make sense that Sullivan at times has been willing to invest in the squad, but he's not willing to invest in the manager. What's the bloody point?
It makes no sense at all. The only thing I can say, the only thing I can suggest is that it's important that he has his man in as the manager, and that together they undermine the director of football. And again, I'm only painting a picture the way I see it on the outside.
Fuck all of that, Gary. I'm just sorry. Like, it really annoys me, this does, because you might be right or whatever, right? But he can't be that fucking stupid, because you're talking about a guy that he owns a football club, right? So all he cares about is the politics inside.
It ain't stupid though, Chris. It ain't stupid.
But maybe focusing on the fact that we actually should be winning games and playing good football, right?
It ain't stupid. No, his priority is to stay in the Premier League, pure and simple. Stay in the Premier League, stay in the Premier League, and also to transact deals in the correct way that benefits the right people. Yeah,
but it just can't. I mean, if he's willing to spend money on players, which he has done over the course of the last couple of years, he's put his money in his pocket. To be fair to him, he has, right? But he never does it for a fucking manager. That doesn't make any sense, Gary. It doesn't make.
He never does it for a manager. He never does it for a manager, and he never goes that.
Put me or you in charge, mate. Do you know what I mean? It's fucking crazy.
Well, yeah, he never does that for a manager, and he never buys all of the players we need. He buys some of them, right? He didn't finish the job.
Yeah,
he didn't buy Duran, because there is a strong preference to for Mr. Salthouse to get involved in there. You know, in all of these deals.
Honestly,
and the fact is, if you've got
the day that he fucking sells up, honestly, I'll be having a fucking big piss up, because I can't wait till that day happens. Honestly.
But that's the only reason, Chris. That's the only reason that's the only way I can make logical sense in my head that David Moyes still had a vote on, it turned from a director of football was going to choose the players to a 3-man panel made up of Sullivan, Moyes, and what's his name? Stuyton, right? So that meant that 2 votes, they could sign who the fuck they like. And lo and behold, he's going to got the next man is his man as well. And they seem to have done a few things. Sullivan's played blind to bring in Somerville in. I'll give him that. But look at some of the other players that we've brought in. They're Loppies. These are Loppies' choices. He can waste money almost as well as David Moyes.
I don't know. I'm just tired of it all. I'm tired of this fucking ownership of the club. I'm tired of the managers that are coming in. I'm tired of the crappy football that we're playing. But I'll still go to all the games.
Yeah,
because I love it. I love it.
I know. We love moaning, don't we? Love moaning. Yeah. What would we be? What would we be without a moan? Eh? What's Spanish for Scheiße? Yeah, I'll let you guess. Big compliment from Steve Tiley. You're a top bloke.
Oh, thank you.
Agree with most things. I don't agree with anything he says. I don't agree with anything.
That's because you're wrong.
To argue with him. I like to argue with him. Tommy Scanlon, Sully doesn't like spending money on decent players and coaches. I think he definitely not coaches, because there's no resale value. Right? That's all it is. He looks at that as money out the door. He doesn't look at it as, it's really a fool's errand, and in the end, if you've got to get a manager in for free, bring in their entourage, pay them a load of money, let them build the squad, sack the manager, sack their entourage, buy a load more players, sell a load of players, it's surely a false economy, isn't it? A lot more expensive than going and buying a manager for 10 million quid, the price of a Danny Ings, who would be good for your club to take you forward up to genuinely the next level, not a fluky next level, genuinely the next level, with backing over the next couple of seasons. But no.
So true.
What's this about Randy? JD, there was a report from the Telegraph that the reason the club would not sack Lopetegui was due, there was a £5 million. Yeah, but that's nonsense. That was, I know, I read that, Randy. That's not true. It is true in real terms that he will get paid 5 million quid. In actual terms, he will get paid monthly, his salary, until he gets another job running up to the end of his contract, end of next season. Yeah. It was 5 million overall. It wasn't 5 million a year, was it?
I don't know, mate.
I don't think it was.
I don't know.
So anyway, look, we're going to finish on an hour. Same old quotes from players every week. Yeah, I know. Honestly, Loppy doesn't trust kids in that. No, he doesn't. He doesn't. Murder. It's murder. Just murder, isn't it? Yeah. It seems weird. After a 4-1 loss, we're not getting the ump. Well, no, we all saw it coming though, didn't we? I predicted 6, so this is actually a good result for me.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I know what you're saying. But when you look at the actual game, as we have and we've watched it,
It's a bit of
that's
good
the
news.
frustrating thing.
Is a bit of good news. Tom McAllister, you used to playing goal for us, Tom. X update saying Lopetegui not being sacked. However, that's. However, good news is Moyes wouldn't be considered for a return should J-Lo leave. That's when J-Lo
I
leaves.
don't think he would.
Let's do our predictions. Let's do our predictions when we think Lopetegui's going to get sacked. Because it's pointless doing predictions around bloody thingy. So let me know in the chat now when you think he's going to get sacked, when it's going to be unsustainable and Sullivan has no excuses anymore. I'm going to give you my theory. And my theory is we've just got spanked by Liverpool. We just got spanked by Man City, a crap Man City. The next game we're going to is Villa on Friday. We're going to get spanked because he's going to play half a team. He don't care about the cup. And then we're going to play at home to Fulham on the 14th, which is the following Tuesday. I think he gets that Fulham game. We get stuffed at home. We're suddenly looking at the bottom 3. He gets fired that night. And we get a caretaker in charge for the Crystal Palace game, which is the following Saturday. So if I was to put money on it, he's going to be sacked on the morning of Wednesday the 15th of January.
Yeah. My prediction is slightly different to yours, Gal. I think he's going to get beyond Fulham. I think he'll get to the Palace game. I think that one's going to be more pivotal because actually beating Fulham is a tougher task than beating Palace. If we lose to Fulham, I think he'll still get the Palace game. If we lose to Palace, then he's going to go. That's what I think, because losing to Palace at home is unacceptable for us. It is. That isn't.
Big time. Yeah.
Then you've got Villa, Chelsea, and Brentford, and they are not going to be easy games. So that Palace game is the one, because that would be, with all due respect to Palace, that would be the one team that you'd look at over the next 5 games that you could say that's the one that we really need to win and should win. We should. Well, there's no divine right to win it, but that's the one we should definitely be aiming to get 3 points from. And if we don't, that's when I think he goes. So I think he's got the Fulham. I think he's got the Fulham game to lose. And if he loses that, he's got Palace. That's what I think. If he beats Palace, then suddenly you're talking, he's probably going to be there for the fucking Villa game. So you're
going. So you got to put a date on it. I've said 15th of January. You're saying 19th of January, then the morning after the Palace game.
Well, I mean, say post the 19th, the week of the 19th, whatever it is. Yeah, around that time. That's when I think he'll go. Yeah.
Mark Pendleton, we never lose at Pullman Road. I've had some good nights out there. Those 2 playoff semi-finals, fucking fabulous. I think he will as well, Steve. That is my belief. So I think he's good. I think we will get bashed up by Fulham. I think Marco Silva will have the right ump over us getting that last minute equaliser and rubbing his nose in it because we were celebrating a bit hard. They missed a boatload of chances. I don't think they're going to be doing that anymore. Last game, a lot of people saying end of the season. No, I don't think it will be, to be honest. Bring in Carrick.
Some boys. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
By the way, this comment here,
go on.
Palace
when it's too late.
Palace is no easy game. Yeah, I know. I'm not saying it's an easy game, but I'm saying over the if you're going to judge it and assess it over the next 5 games, that's probably one of the games where you would hope, or we need to win it. We need to win it, and so his job will be on the line if he doesn't win, beat Palace. I think Fulham, if we lost to them, it wouldn't be as bad as losing to Palace. That's what I'm saying.
I think. I believe this. Don't forget, we beat Palace at their place. That's going to give them the ump a little bit. They're going to want a little bit of revenge. I think we possibly beat Fulham and draw against Palace. But I think it depends. When he gets sacked, depends on how the rest of the league is shaping up. And if we're getting sucked in, I think that's when the panic starts to happen.
But here's another thing to take into consideration. Maybe if we actually start signing some players prior to maybe the Fulham or the actual Palace game, maybe that's going to be a bit of a turn. Maybe we will start having a bit of an uptake in form. You never know.
Right, let's leave it there, Chris. We're done. I said an hour. I'm going to stick to it. Yeah. Thank you, everybody in the chat. Thanks to Claire and Bodger for doing the moderation. Another miserable performance. I'm sure it's going to get better at some point. Can't say
better
exactly
performance, but
yeah, better
result.
performance, but a shit result. Yeah, but hopefully we'll get something next Friday and we'll go and win the FA Cup, Chris?
Oh yeah, mate, it's coming home. It's coming home. It is.
You heard it here first. See you soon, everyone. Come on, you irons.